Good afternoon. I'm Erica Scheider, and it's E-R-I-K-A, Scheider, S-C-H-E-I-D-E-R. I'm the chief here at the Roseville Police Department. Thank you for your patience while we pulled together exactly what happened this morning. At around 10:23 this morning, the Roseville Police Department were dispatched to the 1100 block of Ryan Avenue on an assault in progress involving several family members. The initial information we received is that several family members had been assaulted by another family member. When officers arrived, they found two victims with serious injuries. Both of those victims were transported to a local hospital. We also found one person who is deceased at the scene and remains here at the scene. There was two other family members who suffered minor injuries, and those family members are now being interviewed by detectives. The information we received when we arrived is that the suspect had fled the scene on foot, so we set up a perimeter. We called in the Minnesota State Patrol aircraft, as well as a K-9 unit and drones to start searching the area. We did send out a shelter-in-place alert that was originally supposed to just go to the neighborhood. It does sound like that went to a broader audience than just the neighborhood, but the initial intention was for this neighborhood to shelter in place while we attempted to locate the suspect. A short time later, a tip came in from somebody who got the alert that they had just observed the suspect down by the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. St. Paul Police responded and took the suspect into custody without an incident. The suspect in this case is a 17-year-old male. We're not aware of a police history at this address, but it's obviously very early. There's a lot of information we're still trying to piece together, and we're still trying to come up with answers. At this time, we don't know the motive. Detectives are still interviewing the family members, and we hope to know more information later today. The Roseville Police Department will be pushing out a press release later this afternoon, but at this time, it's still, as I said, it's very early in the investigation, and we're still trying to answer a lot of the questions people have. I want to thank all of the agencies that responded. We had support from Ramsey County SWAT, we had support from the Minnesota State Patrol and a number of other agencies, including St. Paul, to secure this location while we tried to find the suspect that had fled on foot.
Two serious injuries, two minor injuries, and one deceased. Are they all part of the same family?
It's still early, and I don't have all those details. My understanding, the initial information we received is that these were all family members.
Including the suspect?
Correct, yes.
Any idea why that alert went out so broadly?
We are still looking at what happened with how that alert went out.
Who manages that?
That's managed through the dispatch center. So the original intention was for the alert to go out to this immediate neighborhood so that people could shelter in place as we believe that the suspect was still in the area.
Was it a shooting, or what kind of weapon did you recover?
We're still, the BCA is now on scene and is going to be processing that. It was not a firearm, but we're still determining what the actual weapon that was used against family members. They did have blunt force trauma, but we're still piecing together what exact weapon was used.
Do you know the ages or relative ages of the victims?
I do not have any of the information on the family members. They are all being interviewed by detectives both down at the hospital right now as well as at the Roseville Police Department. So we'll try to have more information in the press release that comes out later today on that.
Did this individual have any mental health issues?
I don't have that information. I checked for past calls. It does not look like we've had any police-related calls at this residence before.
When you say the alert was issued by the dispatch center, is it the county dispatch center, the city dispatch center, and is this a new system, or how do you determine when you issue an alert like this?
Yeah, so we rely on Ramsey County dispatch to send out alerts. Like if we have a shelter in place, if we're sending out information, we usually do it to a specific neighborhood, and that was the original intention, is that the shelter in place would go out to this neighborhood since we believed he was on foot. Obviously, it went out to a much wider area, and we know that caused a lot of concern, and so we certainly will be looking into what happened and make sure that doesn't happen again. We know, schools went on lockdown. People were really concerned to get that alert on their phone, so we will look into that and figure out what happened.
Is the suspect cooperating, or is he cooperative at the time of arrest?
My understanding is he was cooperative when he was taken in custody. I do not know if he's continuing to cooperate with our detectives.
You said the person that called when they spotted the suspect, how did they get that information? Was it through that same emergency alert, or was it a different?
My understanding from what I was briefed on is that they received that alert and they saw the individual matching the description and called St. Paul Police.
So would that have been outside the area it was intended to go to?
That would have been outside the area. When we set up our perimeter, we believe the suspect was still in this neighborhood. We're going to obviously try to look at how he got out of that perimeter, or he may have been out of the perimeter before we were able to get it set up.
So from that sense, the error that it went out broader actually led to his arrest.
Absolutely, yes. That's the initial information we have. The unfortunate thing is we know some businesses were impacted by that shelter in place, and were really concerned when they likely were outside of the area that there was any public safety concern.
But on the other hand, the person that called in wouldn't have seen it had it.
Absolutely. Yep. Correct.
Were any of the victims, including the deceased, minors?
I don't have that information, and we'll try to get that out in the press release that we'll be working on here this afternoon, and try to get it out before this evening's news. So,
Does the suspect live here?
I'm not positive on that. We haven't determined that. We do know they were all family members. I don't know if he was actually living at this address. So
So a total of 5 victims, 2 with serious injuries, 2 with minor, and 1 deceased. Is that
correct. Yep.
Your last one?
And we will get the press release out this afternoon. Just stay tuned to our Twitter and social media through the city, and they'll be pushing that out. So, and thank you guys for your patience. I know it took a little bit of time to get here. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.